Welcome to part 2 of Jappio's scratching tutorial, concept and planning. In this segment, we are going to actually not even open up our spriting program yet. We're not going to start making the sprite. This is obviously going to be concept and planning. Essentially, you should have a plan when going into this type of work. You shouldn't just open up your program and start doing something. I mean, there's a lot of forms of art where you can just do that if you just want to. You have nothing on mind and you just want to open up. I've done that plenty of times, and I'll just do around it. Oh, look, I made a cool little sprite axe, or oh, look, I made some weird looking face. I almost never save it, though. It's more so a free time type thing, don't know what to do. When you're actually going to do a project or going to do something, you should have it planned out, actually, though. You gotta first kind of figure out what you plan to do. Like, what's the purpose, really, of what you're about to make? Are you going to make something that's just going to be one stilled sprite just for the sake of art? You just want to, you know, sprite something? Or are you actually going to have something that you're going to put into a program and actually have in there? There's a lot of options, really, in what you can do with your sprite, and you gotta kind of want to figure it out. And then beyond that, you gotta start figuring out other things, like, is it going, if you're gonna do it for a game, or do you want to edit Mario sprites? You want to edit a Mega Man boss, maybe? Or you gonna make a bunch of Fakeamon, like I'm gonna show off here? You got a lot of options, and you gotta probably figure that out before you start. I know this probably sounds stupid. Of course, you're gonna know what you want to do before you actually start doing it, but sometimes things need to be said, because surprisingly, sometimes people don't realize that. Now, there's a lot and lots of different styles, as I said. You're going to have things like Pokemon, which is going to have this, you know, there are going to be a lot of creatures with elements mixed into them. Or you're going to have something like fantasy RPGs like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, stuff like that, where all the sprites and monsters and stuff are either going to be, you know, various heroes and armor and robes and magical wands, or you're gonna have, you know, enemy monsters, dragons, mythology, stuff like that. So you gotta kind of know which type of game you're basing it off of. You can definitely go for a style and not do something with that they do in that game. I could use the Pokemon style to, for example, try and draw Ganondorf. There'd be no reason for him to be in a Pokemon game. He is not a Pokemon, and I doubt he would waste time being a trainer and using Pokeballs. He would probably conquer them with his great dark evil magic. It's still something that I did because it's a style I like. So you actually want to just look at them as an artistic view of what style you like. Do you want to go 8-bit? Do you want to go 16-bit? Do you want to screw the bits and not even have any limitations and just go all out crazy? Well, you can't just go in without knowing what style you want to do. I mean, you can. If you're advanced enough, you don't really need to follow a style. However, if you are a beginner or moderate, I definitely recommend you know what type of game style you're going for. Go to a site like Spriter's Resource and just randomly pick a game or something if you really don't know what to do. I mean, pick out a sprite, pick out a game, find something that you think, oh, I like how this is done. I want to do something similar. And look at that, look at those examples and see, you know, what rules, what things they do that you gotta do in yours if you do it by that style. And now, before you even decide to open up your spriting program and you got an idea of what you want to do in your head and you know what style you want to do, pull out a piece of paper, pull out a pen or pencil, and actually just doodle it. I'm not asking for you do anything crazy or super artistic. I am not. This is why I'm a spriter. I don't have normal art skills. I take a piece of paper and I draw stuff that looks like this, or this, or this. And honestly, they don't look that great. They're just little doodles. It's the things you do when you're bored in class and the teacher's going on and on about some horrible subject. You don't care, because who really likes How to Kill a Mockingbird or anything like that? They're lame. Who cares? So you're drawing some weird little stick guy chopping somebody up with some crazy machete or something. You never. I don't know. I don't know what you all do and what you guys draw. I drew weird stuff. I drew things like French fries mixed with giraffe. I was a disturbed little kid. But point is, you should probably doodle it. You don't need any great artistic skill, but you want to get your plan down. You want to get kind of what it's going to look like. I mean, See here, there's a couple of the Fakemon I made. I have a lot of concepts, and I go over a lot of different things. I brainstorm, I get a lot of different designs and things I could have done, but eventually I come to an idea I like most, and then I actually know ahead of time what I want to do. And that's pretty important if you ask me, actually. To have this plan definitely consolidates what you want it to look like. So when you're spriting, you're not spriting Brian. Spriting takes a while to get its initial image up and everything. It's an art form that's very precise in what you put where. So a lot of times you want to have an idea ahead of time, because if you go in and you don't have one of these doodles and you end up creating something and you're like, I don't like that pose, or I don't like how that is, you just wasted a lot of time. It's not something you really want to do. You want to have that plan ahead of time. You're always going to, do something wrong and have to go back and change things, but this definitely cuts down on that, so it's very important. Another very important part, especially if you're doing something like Fakemon, you want to actually do research. You actually will want to go to Google, Wikipedia. You actually want to research what you're going to be doing. For example, of the Fakemon that I will be doing, you don't just want to do something baseless as, oh, I want to make a dog and I'm going to give him fire. Yeah. Yeah. This sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I'll call him Fire Rock. Yeah, Fire Rock, Fire Dog. I mean, a lot of Pokemon seem like they like Growlithe. I guess I just made fun of Growlithe. But you don't want to just do something that simple. You actually want to think into it. If you're making a region in a large set of Fakemon, you actually want to think about it. And Nintendo a lot of times has reasoning behind some of their Pokemon. You look at things and go, oh, wow, that's actually based off of this mythology, or that's based off of this and this and this. And, sometimes there is a lot more thinking in it. You actually want to put that into your sprites. For example, all my Fakemon I plan to have in this one region that I've actually, partway through, I decided, you know what? This place, let's base it off Australia. So I started actually researching animals that live in Australia, and I'd look at them and be like, oh, cool, look, there's a Tasmanian tiger, or just a Tasmanian devil, and those things are like evil and ferocious and vicious. And so, maybe it would be a dark type that would actually fit with, how those creatures are. It's dark to be ferocious and vicious like that, so it actually works out in that way. So when you actually do your research for what you're trying to do, there's a lot of things you can do, and it will actually help you along. It will make, it fit a lot better. You want to plan and research, and it's always going to help out, and it's going to get you a lot of neat and original ideas. I mean, anybody can pick random animal A and mix it with random element B, but if you actually have some background and reasoning to it, it actually makes it seem a lot more, well, legit. It makes it seem, a little more deep. It's not just something simple and stupid that anybody could do. And that gives it a special shine that I think would help you make a sprite above others, and at the very least. I mean, yeah, you can probably get good ideas if you just mix random ideas together, but you're a lot more guaranteed if you actually put your thought into it. So we get a lot of ones, and here's what we're going to be doing today. As you can see, I have a bunch of various ideas for it. However, I have one final design that I think I like best, and we're going to go with that. Now, as far as the concept goes as to why I made it look like this legendary, I had come up with the idea quite some time ago. I wanted to try and think of something that really would be able to fit under the idea of being something that could both use Thunderbolt and close combat. I wanted an electric fighting type, and I needed something that would fit that properly. I really wanted this to be like a big, powerful, legendary Pokemon. So I really had to think about what would fit that best. And, well, the obvious answer came down to, Thor, God of Thunder. He both is great at physical combat and is known for being, well, a thunder god. So it actually fit in there very nicely. I took a few various things as far as the design. As you can see, he kind of has like a cloud look to him. His whole lower half of his body is a cloud, and his face and chest is like a big cloud beard, which obviously represents a thunderstorm. You can see his big muscles and big arms and hands, and the lightning bolts coming off of those. Once again, lightning. He has little horns even too, to be similar to a Viking helmet, is my thinking with that. So he looks very Norse. He looks very much like he's going to come by and smite you down to the ground. So he really fits a legendary in that fact that he looks powerful and intimidating. Now, obviously, when making a Fakemon, you got a lot of choices you have to make. Depending on what kind of Fakemon you're making, it's going to make a big difference. Obviously, if you're going with the legendary, you want to do what I did and try to make something big, intimidating, with a lot of features, a lot of detail, things like that. That's pretty much in history what a lot of the legendaries have done, ignoring obviously the small ones like Selby and stuff. And then if you're making something small, a first stage Pokemon, something like that, obviously you want to make it small and cute and not look too threatening or anything like that. And then obviously when they evolve and you got just your regular third stage, second stage, maybe even just singular stage Pokemon, you want them to have more details, to be more threatening on their own, but at the same time nothing too super great and amazing that like it's going to be something that's super rare and one of a kind and the only thing. Obviously there's different stages and phases in between all these points, but for the most part, you got to pay attention to what kind of Pokemon you're making, what its purpose is, and how it fits into the region and your Pokedex. So, you got to keep in mind legendary, baby, small, first stage, second stage, third stage, whatever it may be. Well, that's the end of part 2 then. Next up, we're going to actually start learning the basics of MS Paint, the program that I will be teaching you how to sprite in, and along with a few other little tidbits. Don't worry, the actual spriting's coming up soon.